welcome back to another one of our assemblies. It's so good to have you. How was your October holidays? Were they good? I hope you enjoyed them. Well, today we have got lots planned again. So today we are speaking about successful learners. And of course, I've got a game for you. So sit back, relax, and we will play this game. So here we are on today's game, and this game is all about extreme close-ups. So we're going to show you 5 different pictures, and all you have to do is stop and look closely to guess which each picture is. So here we are on picture 1. So what do you think this could be? There's a nice green colour on the screen and a very interesting texture. What do you think it could be? Do you think it's an animal? Oh, what do you think it could be? Oh, I wonder if you've guessed it by now. Well done, it's broccoli. Give yourself a pat on the back if you guessed broccoli. So here is picture 2. Let's see if this one's a little bit easier to guess. Okay, so we've got some very yellow colours on the screen. And, oh, another interesting texture. What do you think it could be? Oh, this one's a bit more difficult, I think. Oh, well done if you've guessed it. It's a sponge for washing the dishes. That was difficult. Okay, let's see if we can guess number 3. Okay, so we've got another green thing going on. Do you think this one could be an animal? There's some lines. Oh, you've got to look very closely for this one. Do you think it could be a lizard? Oh, maybe not a lizard. What do you think it could be? Oh, I think you might have guessed it. It's a leaf. Well done if you guessed all 3 so far. So here is number 4. Okay, what could this be? It's kind of a bit pink, a bit peach. Another interesting texture. Oh, I don't know what this is. Have you guessed it? Oh, I might know. It's a thumb. Wow, that was hard. Okay, this is the 5th and final one. Let's see what you can guess here. Oh my goodness, this is another very interesting texture. Something else that's a wee bit pink and there's some black bits there. What do you think it could be? I wonder what this one is. Oh, I've guessed it. It's a fish. Wow, well done if you have got all 5 on an extreme close-up game. Well, I wonder how you got on with the game today. We're going to play another version of it later, but wasn't it difficult to identify the broccoli and the fish and all the different ones? But it got easier as you paid attention and you stopped and looked at the image. Well, today we are going to speak about a person in the Bible who was a king. He was the youngest king in the Bible. His name was Josiah, and here is his story.
Stories of the Bible. Josiah. This is Josiah.
Heyo!
Josiah became king of Israel when he was only 8 years old.
Yep.
Now the country of Israel had a very long line of kings who did many bad things, including Josiah's father and grandfather. These kings did not follow after God, and they ignored his commandments and his law. But when Josiah became king, he did what God wanted him to and followed the example of King David.
Yeah!
18 years after Josiah became king, he sent one of his court secretary, Shaphan, to God's temple.
Thank you.
Many of the kings before Josiah did not take good care of God's house, so it was in need of repair. While they were in the temple, Hilkiah, the high priest, said to Shaphan,
Hey!
I have found the book of the law in the Lord's temple. So Shaphan took the scroll back to King Josiah and read it to him. When Josiah heard what was in the book, he was greatly upset
Oh no!
because the people of Israel were not doing the things that God asked him to do, and Josiah knew that God must be angry with Israel for not obeying his commandments. Josiah gathered together all the people of Israel to the temple
That's from the dress.
and read the entire book of the covenant to them. That very day, Josiah and all the people promised that they would obey all of what God commanded with all their hearts and souls.
We promise too!
Josiah went on to help Israel become a people fully committed to God. He tore down all the other temples and the idols that they had set up. He got rid of all the people who were doing bad things all throughout Israel. And he did all that was commanded in God's book. Never before had there been a king like Josiah who turned to the Lord with all his heart and soul and strength, obeying all the laws of Moses. And there has never been a king like him since.
So I hope you enjoyed that story about Josiah. Have you heard that one before? I love the story of Josiah in the Bible. It inspires me that he was only 8. Who is 8 and you're watching this today? I mean, 8 years old, it's old, but it's not really old, is it? 8 years old and Josiah was made king. And of course, he didn't have the best start. His dad wasn't a good king. He didn't make good choices. But Josiah, he was a successful learner because he chose to learn from the right people around about him. Did you see that bit in the story where it says that Josiah found the scroll? And when he found the scroll, he stopped, he looked at it, he read it, and he listened to what it had to say. The scroll was full of God's instructions, the way that Josiah should live, the right way to live. And Josiah, from that moment on, completely changed things. He said to the people, stop, we are going to live differently. He wanted to be successful in his life, and he chose to take the scroll, to stop, to look, to listen to what the scroll had to say. And from there, he built an amazing kingdom. And you know, Josiah was one of the good kings who made good choices. Why was Josiah a good king? Well, Josiah was a good king because he chose to be a successful learner. Well, boys and girls, what does it mean to be a successful learner? Well, let's take the word successful to start with. If you're successful, you're doing something well. So if you're going to be a successful learner, you're going to learn well. And I'm sure at school you have been learning so much. Let me show you a few things. So I have these books with me. Now, I don't know who's in primary 1 or who's in primary 7, but I do know that when we are successfully learning how to read, that we start off with books that are a little bit easier, and then they become a little bit harder. There's a few more words in there, and then we progress up to books that have a lot of words, and sometimes the words can be quite big. But you know, how do you get from reading a small amount to reading a large amount? Well, one of the things Josiah did, and I think that we all have to do to be successful learners, is to stop, is to look at what we're doing, to listen to the instruction that we are given, and to try our hardest to follow along. Do you know, it's so important when you're a successful learner that you stop, you look and listen to whoever is teaching you. Do you know, when you learn something, you're normally learning it from somebody else. You could be learning it from your mum and dad. You could be learning it from whoever you live with. You could be learning it from your teacher. But you have to stop, you have to look, and you have to listen to what they have to say. Can you imagine if I had sat when I was 5 years old and the teacher had said, right, Lisa, this is what you need to do to read. And I said, I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to learn that. I'm just going to do it my own way. Well, I would never have learned how to read, and I wouldn't have been a successful learner in reading. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that we stop, that we look, and we listen to who is trying to teach us whatever we are learning. So we've spoken about stop, look, and listen to be a successful learner, but I also know that when you're learning something new and something you haven't done before, you've got to be willing to give it a go, even when you don't feel like it. Who's good at doing something new? Or who likes doing what you've always done? Well, do you know, when I was a child, I learned to play this sport. Do you know what this is? course, it's a badminton racket. And I would have played with my mum, with my dad, with my sister, and we would have played badminton quite a lot. And you know, to start with, it was something that was new and I didn't know how to do it. And when you don't know how to do something, it can be really tricky, can't it? Do you know, even just holding the racket and lining up the shuttlecock and making sure I managed to hit it was really tricky. And sometimes I was tempted, I don't know if you've ever done this, to just throw it down and walk away, but I never did, even when I felt like it. I made sure, I thought, right, this is something that is new, but I want to learn how to play badminton. Do you know, to be a successful learner, you've got to be willing to try something new. You've got to be willing to hang in there even when you don't quite know how to do it. And you know something? Practice makes it an awful lot easier. I now play badminton and I've been a successful badminton player. I can go and I play with my friend. Sometimes she wins the matches, sometimes I win the matches, but we have a great time playing together. Do you know, Josiah was also someone who tried something new even when he wasn't sure how it was going to go. He rebuilt the city. When he got that scroll and he stopped and he looked and he listened, he then says, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to give it a go. And day by day, he got through it. He was a successful learner because he was learning all the time how to do something new. And he rebuilt the city and he was successful. So to be a successful learner, we've said you've got to stop, you've got to look, and you've got to listen to whoever is teaching you something new. We've also got to be willing to try something new and to have a great attitude towards it. Do you know, the other thing is we need to make sure that we are positive when we're trying new things. I want to share a story about a famous Scot who was alive a little while ago and the amazing things that he did. He was a successful learner and he's quite an inspiring character. His name is Alexander Graham Bell. Do you know what he invented? Any ideas? Well, let me give you a few clues. Alexander Graham Bell, he was born on the 3rd of March in 1847 and he was born in Edinburgh. Alexander had 2 other brothers and he was somebody who was very inquisitive. He liked to ask questions. But do you know something? He also liked new things as well. Do you know an interesting fact about Alexander Graham Bell was when he was born, he was only called Alexander Bell. But his brothers were given middle names. And so Alexander was like, hey, this is not fair. I would like a middle name too. And his dad let him, on his birthday, choose his middle name. Can you believe that? So he is called Alexander Graham Bell. Now that's just an interesting fact about him, but he was somebody who was successful in learning. And he was successful in learning. He started off his life being homeschooled by his dad. Do you remember when we were in lockdown and you were being homeschooled? Well, he was very much like you. He was homeschooled by his father to start with. And then he went to high school. And then from there, he continued on learning. Do you know, Alexander Graham Bell, he was an inventor and he tried lots and lots of different things. And he eventually moved to Canada. And when he was over in Canada, he started working with some other people. And he made sure he stayed positive in what he was doing. He didn't have a negative, I can't do this. He kept thinking, right, we need to keep trying, we need to keep trying, we need to keep inventing, we need to keep learning. And he was always stopping and looking and listening to what was going on. He was also willing to try different ways of doing things. And eventually, Alexander Graham Bell invented the first telephone. And this is a photo of his first telephone that he invented. It looks nothing like our telephones today, does it? I mean, this is my phone today, but that is how it started. How far has it come? But you know, when Alexander Graham Bell first invented the telephone, he was able to have a 2-mile conversation. So the telephone was here, and then this wire ran 2 miles down the road, and he could speak to his friend. And he thought that was awesome. But you know, he didn't think that was the end of it. He wanted to be successful again. He wanted to continue being a successful learner. You see, when you're a successful learner, you don't just get to a moment and you stop and you think, right, that's it. Because if that's all he'd done, invented a telephone that could be 2 miles apart, then we wouldn't be able to speak to people all over the world. But you know, as the months went on, he continued to learn. He continued to develop. He continued to try new things. He continued to be positive. And it wasn't long before he was able to speak on a phone line that was 3,400 miles apart. How amazing is that? And of course, from there, people have kept being successful learners, and we can now walk around with phones in our pockets. Wi-Fi that can connect us. We don't even need a wire anymore. But that's all because people kept a positive mindset and they didn't give up. So boys and girls, I want to encourage you today to make sure that you continue to be a successful learner, that you're always stopping, looking, listening to what is going on, to who is teaching you, to who is guiding you, for those who are trying to help you, to make sure that you're always willing to try and do something new, even when you feel a little bit apprehensive, even when your belly goes a little bit sore, to keep trying to do new things. And the third thing is to keep being positive. Don't be negative, but keep giving it a go, trying your best, and you will find that you'll be able to be a successful learner.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for our assembly today. We hope we have inspired you to be successful learners. And can you believe it? That's our assembly done for the November month. And next time it's going to be Christmas assembly. Oh my goodness. Well, to end our assembly today, we have got a bonus close-up, extreme close-up game. So here you are. Let's focus in and see if you can get all 5 images. So let's play this bonus game of extreme close-ups. Let's see if we can get all 5 this time. So here is the first item. Let's identify this thing. Okay, what do you think this could be? Do you think this is a plant? Do you think it's a person? Oh, it's got 2 eyes. What do you think this could be? Do you think it's a scary animal or a cute animal? What do you think it could be? It's a kitten. Very cute. Oh, well done if you got picture 1. Let's go on to picture 2. Let's identify this thing. Okay, what do you think this could be? I think this could be quite difficult to guess. I wonder what it could be. Who has guessed it already? Who's still thinking? Let's see if you've guessed it now. Well done if you've guessed it. It's a red onion. Okay, let's see what picture 3 is. What do you think this could be? Okay, so it's something that's black in colour. I don't know what this could be. What's your thoughts? Let's see if we can zoom out a wee bit and see what it is. Oh, it's got lots of legs. Do you think it's a spider? No, it's a beetle. Well done if you guessed beetle. Okay, here is picture 4. Okay, lots of lines. Oh, what's got lots of lines? It's an interesting colour. Oh, there's a couple of different colours on this one. What do you think it could be? Oh, you might be guessing it now. Well done if you've guessed it. It's a feather. A very nice feather. Okay, let's see. This is the final picture for this assembly. We have got picture number 5. Probably the most difficult one, I think. What do you think it could be? There's so many different colours, so many different textures. What do you think? I have no clue. Could it be a Christmas tree? I don't know. What do you think it is? Oh, it's round. Oh, it's a marble. Well done if you have guessed all 5 items. That is today's game. And we'll see you next time. Bye.